Good evening. Some record and near record setting temperatures in the lower Midwest this afternoon, including in our viewing area. Olivia?
Well, thanks, Scott. Also, we're learning more about a Veterans Day house fire that destroyed a veteran's home. But in all the burning debris, firefighters salvaged something special.
Plus, Decatur water customers are being asked to cut back. We'll tell you about concerns with the city's water supply. This is News Watch, and your Friday's edition starts now.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
During a stressful and chaotic time, firefighters are able to salvage a valuable keepsake for a veteran and his family who lost their home on Veterans Day. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Bennett.
And I'm Andrew Spade. November 11th is a time to honor those who have served our country, both living and deceased.
But as Newswatch's Matt Williamson reports, early that morning, everything changed for one veteran and his family.
You always come into somebody's life in this line of work on their worst day, and you try to do everything you can to help them in their worst time. But in the same sense, there's only so much that you can do with the tools that you have to work with.
The call came in like any other.
We come up onto a scene like this, work is always first. You always get the job done, and then the feelings kind of come in after.
But everything changed for a veteran and his family when the upper level of their home caught fire in Ashmore early Tuesday morning, of all days, on Veterans Day.
You always hate for it to happen to somebody, and especially, with this circumstance, it being Veterans Day and a veteran living here, you don't ever wish that upon anybody in particular, especially somebody that served the country.
Marshall Reinhardt has been a volunteer with the Ashmore Fire Department for 7 years. He was one of the first responders on scene.
Yeah, because it being Veterans Day, it is kind of rough, because trying to support the veterans and everything else. So it's rough.
But for members of this volunteer crew, calls like this serve as a reminder as to why they do what they do.
I do it because I hope somebody else will also do it. If something were to happen, if I have an issue, I have the same thing. That's why I'm willing to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning to go to fire calls and different things and helping people, like say on their worst day.
And Fire Captain Johnson hopes the community will come together to support this veteran and his family.
For a veteran that served our country, I feel like they made the ultimate sacrifice for us. And for somebody to go through this, I kind of feel like that we should return the favor in a way to help them out with whatever we can.
With photographer Andrew Spade, I'm Matt Williamson reporting.
Firefighters tell us they were able to save some personal items from the home, including a U.S. service flag, a grandfather clock, and a cat. They also say no injuries were reported and a cause of the fire hasn't been announced.
Firefighting efforts get a boost in Effingham. The fire department is getting $700,000 to help replace its 25-year-old ladder truck. U.S. Representative Mike Boss says the resolution to open the government this week included money for 3 local projects, including Effingham's new fire truck. Boss says an upgraded vehicle will help improve the department's rescue capabilities, especially for multi-story homes and healthcare facilities.
Good evening. Look at this closely because we might be back at this again tomorrow. Record-setting and near record-setting temperatures today in the viewing area. Temperature kept going up. 77, a new high, a new record for Taylorville. Decatur and Effingham were only 1 degree off the continuing or standing record, and officially in the mid-70s today for Champaign and Robinson. Currently, our temperatures haven't really dropped off that much, although we have lost a lot of cloud cover. Our temperature currently here in Charleston, 69 degrees, still in the 70s, just barely in Taylorville. Coming up, much more weather. You don't want to peak too soon, but we have peaked as far as those fall colors. We'll explain in full weather in about 5 minutes. Now back to the anchor desk.
Thanks, Scott. Dry weather is prompting water rationing in Decatur. City officials say water levels on Lake Decatur have dropped to 3 feet below normal levels. Now, they're implementing Stage 1 rationing, which requires businesses and residents to conserve water. That action forbids filling hot tubs, swimming pools, and ponds, along with pumping water from Lake Decatur for irrigation. It also limits watering lawns, golf courses, and sports fields to Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday of each week. The move also calls for restaurants to stop pre-serving water before customers ask for it.
In tonight's Crime Watch, we have little information to report on an incident involving the FBI and other agencies in Shelby County. Pana Police Chief Daniel Bland says 2 people were taken into custody following a narcotics investigation. FBI Springfield office agent Jake Griffin says the incident happened yesterday morning in Tower Hill, but that's all he can tell us. No names are being released at this time, but Chief Bland says no injuries were reported. Staying in Shelby County, where an inmate has died. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office says 49-year-old male inmate was found non-responsive in his cell early Tuesday morning. Authorities say Brian Reed of Neoga was taken by ambulance to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The investigation is ongoing and there's no additional information available at the time.
An Arthur man charged with trying to kidnap a teenager has been found not guilty by reason of insanity. Court records show Lester Raymond was charged with 2 counts of attempted aggravated kidnapping and aggravated battery. According to court documents, a witness told police last February Raymond grabbed a 16-year-old girl near an Arthur coffee shop, dragged her away, then dropped her when the witness caught up with him. During a bench trial last week, a judge remanded Raymond to the State Department of Human Services for an inpatient mental health evaluation in a secure facility. The results of that evaluation are due back to the judge in 30 days. From Coles County, a man arrested last year on charges of domestic battery is once again facing similar charges. Charleston police say they were called to West Locust Avenue Monday after a caller stated 35-year-old Kendall Wilford was choking and trying to kill her. Police say initially Wilford refused to come out of the home, but eventually did and was taken into custody. They say Wilford was on pretrial release from a previous domestic arrest, but was ordered to remain in jail on the most recent charges. A hearing is scheduled for November 24th.
The University of Illinois system is set to ask for millions more dollars in state funding. Yesterday, the University System's Board of Trustees approved the university's administration request for a nearly 11% increase in operating and capital appropriations from the legislature. That would be a $79 million increase over the state's current appropriation of nearly $730 million. The request includes nearly $55 million to help the University of Illinois Hospital following federal legislation that reduces Medicaid funding and eligibility. Senator Dick Durbin is defending his vote to end the recent government shutdown. Capitol News Illinois reports congressional Democrats are criticizing Durbin's support of a plan that doesn't extend subsidies for the Affordable Health Care Act. But Durbin says he couldn't justify continuing a shutdown that was affecting people's lives.
Millions of individuals were denied paychecks, were unable to feed their family, were denied SNAP benefits to give children and the disabled and the elderly assistance in their food. I think that is the crudest form of a political weapon that I can imagine.
He also says Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer tried to convince him to vote not on the bill to end the shutdown.
SNAP benefits should be in the mail. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says most people will get the benefits by Monday. The department started work to continue full food stamp benefits for the month of November on Wednesday night when the government reopened. More than 40 million Americans were left in limbo last month when the Department of Agriculture was unable to distribute food stamps due to the government shutdown. The decision to not distribute spurred lawsuits and ultimately required the department to issue partial payments. At least 19 states rushed to issue full benefits, and several other states issued partial benefits over the past week. You may be able to save more for retirement next year. The IRS is increasing contribution limits for retirement plans like 401ks by $1,000. The same increase applies to 403bs, governmental 457 plans, and the federal government thrift savings plan. It will also raise the catch-up contribution limit for those 50 and older by $500. That $500 limit raise also applies to both types of IRAs. A sunny day and southwest winds contribute to a warm day in central Illinois.
Well, Scott Ely says to soak up the sun.
Oh, don't let this picture fool you. It'll only be cloudy at first. We've got brilliant sunshine coming your way tomorrow, and we'll explain all about it when we come back.
Christy Hooveris has conquered Mount Kilimanjaro, is 36 years old, lives an active life, doesn't smoke, and is in the prime of her life with a husband and 2 young children. So you can imagine her shock when 4 months ago she was diagnosed with lung cancer. Hooveris says even the doctors didn't believe it, but after feeling chest pain, multiple tests were ordered, and she says a mass was detected in her upper right lobe. Dr. Ioana WEIU with the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center says right now only people ages 50 to 80 with a smoking history are recommended to be screened for lung cancer, but the disease can be caused by several factors, including environmental exposures to things like radon, asbestos, and air pollution. Genetics, having a family history, or certain gene mutations also raises the risk, as does breathing in secondhand smoke. Through surgery, WEIU was able to remove all of Hooveris' cancer and part of her lung, and since the disease was detected early, she didn't need chemotherapy, immunotherapy, or radiation. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Good evening. Let's get right to it with our current conditions in Charleston. Still 69 degrees. That's almost summer-like for evening, although really we're starting in the afternoon if you go by the old TV guide standards of 6 o'clock being evening. 69 the temperature. We do have a little bit of humidity, so some thin clouds are still out there. Visibility, though, very good currently. Our forecast for overnight, almost summer-like. Low temperatures near 60. We have the winds continuing from the south-southwest. They'll be picking up a bit, at times gusting up to 20 miles per hour, but generally between 10 and 15 miles per hour. A few clouds here and there, more clouds toward morning. The fall foliage, well, we have peaked. It's about the time we might expect that in mid-November. You can see that all the folks in the brown color here have been through our best colors, but there are still colors to be seen, and there are still leaves on those trees, although some are fading fast. If you look closely in this picture, the picture was taken today, and I'll step aside here. You can just see some trees have no leaves at all. Others are fully stocked at the moment. 74 possibly for tomorrow's afternoon high. We're going to start out a few clouds, and we start out in the 60s, but then we do rise, and we will be into the 70s by early afternoon. So things are looking like maybe a possible record or record-setting day on Saturday, November 15th. The high for November 15th, the all-time record, 77 here in Charleston. That was set some time ago, I believe, in the mid-1950s. And here's what's happening with those clouds that we're going to see early in the morning. By noon, clearing out substantially, and we've got a brilliantly sunny day by early to mid-afternoon, and that will continue through the night. Without the cloud cover, we do miss out on preserving what we gain as far as solar radiation, so our temperatures will be down in the 30s overnight on Saturday, but then rising up into something more normal for this time of year. Average pretty much is in the mid-50s for mid-November. These are what we call seasonal temperatures, and our winds also dying down on Sunday and Monday. Now here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Look at the bookends. 74 or so for the high on Saturday, and then we drop down to seasonal norms for a while, and then we go back up next weekend. So we'll see what that looks like possibly in just a moment. Rain, we need it, as People Indicator certainly need it after that story we saw. Possibility of rain Thursday, maybe even on Friday. How much? Hard to know for sure. These are the Climate Prediction Center expectations for Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving is on November 27th, so we will go back to above normal temperatures, and you saw the start of it there with the end of our 7-day forecast. This is the 8 to 14-day forecast, so we're kind of yo-yoing a little bit. We go to normal and then back warm again, as you see here toward the end. We do need that rain, and why? Because the drought monitor told us this week we're still in sad shape. We have extreme drought still in Champaign County, also in Piatt County, part of Moultrie County, Douglas County, even a little bit there in Edgar County, but almost the entire viewing area is in some degree of drought. And the drought monitor told us specifically this week, it specifically mentioned East Central Illinois, saying here, severe and extreme drought expanded where stream flow levels dropped and short-term precipitation deficits worsened. And that's certainly what we've had. We've had the lowering of the water in Lake Decatur, and we see on this photo here the Embera River taken by our friend and shown to you just last week. So we do remain in a situation where we need more moisture, we need more rain, and we're also just still getting these high temperatures. So it's not a good situation, but we've recovered from worse than this in the past.
Scott, I have a question for you, if you have a quick answer for me.
I'll try.
Is this normal for this time of year, this level of drought?
It is normal for us to be dry. This is our dry season. This is, we've had worse droughts than this, but this is not good, and it can't continue. It can only
Thank you for that, Scott. Coming up in sports, EIU volleyball looks to make a statement against the top-ranked team in the OVC.
And the Indiana Pacers look to get back in the playoff conversation after a disappointing start. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next.
The Paul Report is back for season 15. We travel to the University of Illinois to meet veterinary experts in dermatology, oncology, and cardiology. Plus, we take our cameras to a Central Illinois zoo and a wildlife rescue center.
Be watching Monday at 7 o'clock on WEIU.
We begin tonight with the battle for first place in OVC volleyball. Morehead State is in Charleston to take on the Eastern Illinois Panthers. Both teams come in with stout records at 13-2 are in action at this hour. We're through the first 3 sets, but Eastern Illinois is on top by a score of 2-1. Whoever wins game 2 of the series will take the OVC lead with 2 games to play. As for last night's contest, Eastern delivers a statement, easily sweeping the Eagles for a dominant and lead-tying victory. The Panthers trailed early in the first set, but scored the final 4 points to complete the comeback and never looked back. U of I men's basketball has enjoyed a dream start to their campaign, but another sneaky non-conference opponent arrives on their doorstep tonight as the Colgate Raiders come to town. The Illini are fresh off a statement victory against 11th-ranked Texas Tech, remaining undefeated. Head coach Brad Underwood urges his team to stay grounded and focused heading into tonight's matchup.
We played them 2 years ago and know that it's a team that's built to win championships, and they've done that quite a lot in that conference, and I think this is one of their better teams.
As Underwood alluded to, Colgate is no ordinary mid-major program. The Raiders have made the NCAA tournament in 5 of their last 7 seasons and will give Illinois everything it's got. The game tips off tonight at 8 in State Farm Center. The biggest test of the 2025 season for Eastern Illinois comes early against a historic program. The Panthers are about to face off against the 9th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats at Rupp Arena in the last game of the BBN United Tip-Off Classic. After Tuesday's loss against Notre Dame, EIU hopes to make a strong statement against the team with 8 national championships in men's basketball. Kentucky comes into the match 2-1, with their only loss coming at the hands of in-state rivals Louisville. We are moments away from tip-off, and we'll have a full recap on Monday's edition of Newswatch. And like Eastern, Indiana State will also be playing a powerhouse. The Sycamores take on Duke inside Cameron Arena in North Carolina. Heading on this road trip, ISU comes in with wins over Illinois Tech and SIUE, and the one loss coming to Charlotte. Duke is the 4th-ranked team in the nation and come off a phenomenal 2024 campaign that included a trip to the semifinals of the NCAA tournament. The Blue Devils are undefeated with wins over Texas, Carolina, Western Carolina, and Army. Tonight's action gets underway shortly at 6. Well, the Indiana Pacers need a win. After a blowout loss on Tuesday to the Utah Jazz, the Pacers sit at 1-10 on the season. Can they finally get back on track against Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns? Somebody turn up the heat because Dylan Brooks is cooking. Brooks nails consecutive threes in the first, then pushes his way through the defense for a beautiful and one in the second, and he scores 23 first-half points. Booker takes over, and he drains bucket after bucket after bucket. Phoenix and the Indiana Pacers have no response. Phoenix goes on to win by 35 points, and the Pacers are now dead last in the East at 11-1. The IHSA football quarterfinals are almost here, and several local teams are still alive in the chase for a state title. In Class 1A, it's a battle of the Warriors as KZ Westfield takes on an undefeated Calhoun Brussels. Maroa Forsyth looks to continue their Cinderella run as they face Flora in the Class 2A, while the undefeated Arthur Knights heads northeast to face another undefeated team in Westville. Tolono Unity is also on an impressive run, but the 11-0 Williamsville Bullets stand in their way in Class 3A. And finally, in Class 4A, Breeze Central hits the road to face Cahokia. All 5 contests kick off tomorrow afternoon, and Sports Watch will have a full recap on Monday's edition. Finally tonight, we're not finished with the current season, but U of I football is announcing some game details for next year. The Illini will host the University of Alabama at Birmingham for a season-opening game on September 5th. Financial reasons kept UAB from playing in 2014 for a couple years, but returned to action in 2017. U of I will play the remainder of the non-conference slate at home against Duke and Southern Illinois. And that is a look at tonight's sports headlines. Matt, Andrew, back to you.
Oh, thanks, Austin. A burst of warm air returns to central Illinois, but you'll have a short window to enjoy it. Scott Ely's back with a recap of the Skywatch forecast.
But first, some of the nation's kindest kids gather in our nation's capital. We'll spread a little goodwill in tonight's parting story. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
A production of WEIU TV, City Spotlight, covering the communities of Effingham to Robinson to Danville to Champaign to Decatur to Taylorville and places in between. For a past decade, City Spotlight has been talking with community leaders about what's happening in their local communities across central and southeastern Illinois.
Wednesday at 7 o'clock on WEIU.
Finally tonight, nearly 24 students from across the country travel to the nation's capital with a simple goal: to spread kindness. Thursday was World Kindness Day, and the 20 students were being honored as the kindest kids in America.
Kindness isn't all about the big things, it's more like the small ones, like walking your neighbor's dog, or like helping with groceries.
Yeah. Kindness to me is just like, I don't know, it just makes me feel good. I love helping others. I think it's just a big part in life.
The kids received medals and illustrated books that told their stories of kindness. One student said it doesn't take much to be a kind person. You can just do simple things for people. Well, one of the kindest weather forecasters you'll ever meet is Scott Ely, and he's back to recap the weekend forecast.
Thank you so much. We might have a record-setting temperature tomorrow. Probably won't. It might be just near record-setting. We are shooting for the mid-70s, and then it's going to be kind of a bookend with next weekend, because in the meanwhile, Sunday through Thursday, we're going to have more seasonal temperatures. And what's ahead for Thanksgiving week? Again, it will start with something over the weekend near the 70-degree range, we believe at this point, although the farther we go out, the more conditions could change in the meanwhile. So keep an eye on things. We'll keep an eye on things for you and report back here. Now back to the anchor desk.
Thanks, Scott. And for more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at WEIU.net. There you'll find real-time forecasts and the news video of the day.
And if news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@WEIU.net. Have a nice weekend. Coming up next in WEIU, BBC News The Context. Good night.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.